Welcome Aquarius and Happy New Year. It's 2019. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. Packaging and delivering your best self is what I've written here in my notes as the header for my overview for 2019. I'm not just going to settle into January. I want to give you a little bit about what's happening as a teaser for the full 3,000 word forecast for you for 2019. On February 5th, the new moon in Aquarius activates all of your natural Aquarian traits. There's a heightened self-awareness with this transit of the moon, albeit waning, getting darker. This moon rules your 6th house, which is a zone of health and well-being, so you must be very careful to balance your life in every area throughout 2019. Work may be part of the problem because the environment and the people that you work with have been impacting upon you, and that will come under much closer scrutiny by you. You're starting to connect the dots and see how overwork, sloppy or uncomfortable work environments along with incompatible co-workers contribute to a high level of stress. That in turn no doubt undermines your well-being. So as I've said, pay attention to this single most important issue in the coming months and you'll find yourself a much more productive and happy person. Your ruling planet Saturn's been transiting the hidden part of your horoscope. This also testifies to the fact that you've been burning the candle at both ends and not taking account of your most valuable resources, which are time and health. Once you've spent your time, you can't get it back. So putting in place mechanisms that give you the opportunity to regain your time for your personal interests, family affairs, will be a great investment in your future. Jupiter transits your 11th house during this part of your life, and with Mercury's presence also felt there as the year starts. It's a very lucky omen indeed. You can rely on friends, siblings, and possibly even newly found acquaintances who warm to your honesty and your integrity, and they're prepared to make themselves available if you need them. The 11th house, Jupiter, is also a once in 12-year opportunity to capitalize on your talents. This means earning more money from your work and finally realizing some dream come true. Jupiter influences your communication, your children, creativity, business, and personal relationships. So you can see that it has a marked impact on a whole lot of areas. Wow, it really does seem as if Jupiter is going to touch most areas of your life. And it's going to do it in a way that uplifts and expands all that stuff. Your 3rd house of communication receives the benign influence of Jupiter. Your communications, therefore, do very, very well this year. Any contractual negotiations you enter into should work very favourably for you. You are effective in the way you communicate your ideas and have some ingenious plans as shown by your ruling planet Uranus, spending a little time in this 3rd house earlier on in the year. On a financial note, Neptune still clouds some of the monetary issues by virtue of it being in your 2nd house of income. There's no point having loads of good luck if you aren't practical with your cash. So it's an important transit because of its, number one, lengthy stay in the zodiac sign, and also the approaching square aspect from Jupiter in the first couple of weeks of the year is a strong warning against wasteful expenditure, unrealistic expectations, and also possibly deception. Now that could be through friends or those you do business with, so keep your eye on the detail. Uranus hovers at the lower part of your horoscope and doesn't sort of stay in one direction. It basically does a backward and forward motion dance from your 3rd house to your 4th house early in the year. Then it moves into the direct motion on January 7, and by March 6 moves out of your communications area finally into the zone of family, domestic happenings, and real estate. You can expect circumstances to change, and that will be surprising because there may not be any notice as to the changes that occur at that time. For that reason, the people that you normally rely upon may not be as reliable as you'd expect. You may be hanging in limbo as a result of some decisions that you're waiting on. The action of Uranus is sudden, it's abruptly disconcerting and often very, very confusing. It can create a mess if you haven't got some sort of system in place. This will unsettle your inner contentment. It's important to take stock of what means, I guess, the most to you at this time. You want to try something outlandish and completely out of the ordinary. So try it, experiment, explore, by all means. You could find it hard getting yourself in gear, particularly after April 30, when one of your ruling planets, Saturn, decides to go retrograde as well. This simply indicates your need to go back over old ground and ensure that the decisions you're making for the future are based upon sound judgment. Get your facts and figures right. You could feel frustrated at this time as well, as you realize some of the work or previous decisions that you made require some fine-tuning now. In some cases, you may even need to discard everything you've done and start all over again from scratch. That's going to be pretty annoying. It's not a great idea to make long-term life-shattering decisions under the periods of these retrograde planets. Your ruling planet is no exception. You'll find Saturn is moving into its direct motion only after September 18. The Sun makes some important transits as well, Aquarius, particularly later in the year with its move to your 9th house of long journeys. There could be travel on the cards, and this influence dominates your life up till October 24. When the Sun transits your 10th house, it gives a dynamic lift to your professional activities. That happens in a big way. The most powerful zone of your horoscope, it indicates your rank, your status, your self-esteem. So you may meet some important people at this time after October 24, dignitaries or even government officials. At the very least, employers will take note of the work you're doing, and there could in fact be a chance for you to take on a more responsible position. This is probably the case because leading up to this transit, there is a challenging square aspect from the Sun to Saturn, indicating a greater responsibility. You're driven to earn more money this year, and that's also shown by Mars spending a little time at the outset of the year in your 2nd house of finance. You realise that unless your negotiation skills are up to par, however, you may be shortchanging yourself when it comes to sitting down and contractualising what you feel you're worth. Just because you've got skills with loads of experience doesn't mean you can sell that to someone who may wish to employ you. So the greater part of success is your packaging and delivery. Work on that in the coming months for the maximum impact on others. And this is just the introduction, really. If you visit astrology.com.au on January 1, the full 3,000-word overview for you with more detailed analysis on your relationships and romance and friendship, your financial and professional opportunities, and also your karma, luck and spirituality are all outlined there in the 2019 forecast at astrology.com.au. Here's wishing you a really happy new year again. Join me in February for more. Take care. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye now.